People call you the route god.
Never heard that.
Yeah, it was a huge play. I think it was, in my opinion, the biggest play of the season, truth be told, in my personal opinion.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Tape with a Titan. Today, we are going to break down some film with receiver Kalif Raymond. Kalif, thank you so much for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
Man, I'm excellent, man. Glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
We're very glad and excited to break down some film with you here. We have 4 plays total, starting with what happened to be your first catch as a Titan. Now, this isn't super complex, but I was hoping you could take us through. So this looks like a spacing concept.
Definitely.
Y'all running hooks about at the sticks. I was wondering if you could just break down the reads for the QB on this play. Where's he looking? Is it based on the defensive alignment, or did you know pretty quickly that you were going to be getting the ball?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of had most receivers, you kind of have a man-zone read, just schematically within the offense. So, on the first thing you're going out there, you're just checking it. You're checking the coverage and see what they're running. And this, I don't know if you can tell by that nickel defender right there. But that's actually, it's going to be a zone look. He's not head up on me. He's not looking at me. It's more of a zone offense. So, you kind of, we always mention spacing in our offense. Just so one guy can't cover two. So it's literally exactly what it was. Expecting to get zone. It's kind of, man, get to your spot and let Ryan get out of his hand. So, yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. That was my first catch. Now that I can go back, I can remember how my eyes felt when the ball was coming. Your first one, it's like I'll tell you, any hit, punch and box. I mean, anytime you get your first one out the way, you kind of feel a little juiced after. So, no, that was definitely the first one.
Yeah, so based on the nickel's alignment then, before the ball's even snapped, you knew it was zone.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's probably one of the professional parts. When you go from college to NFL, is kind of learning to read coverage and just based on film that we watch, what the nickel's doing. Sometimes you can tell by what the D-line's doing, but yeah, I knew it was zone as soon as I started off. So I knew at this point it was a high percentage chance it was coming.
And it looks like when you start your stem here, you're angling it outside. I'm assuming that's to create some space here so this linebacker can't jump in the passing lane?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, spacing is everything. So we want to stretch the defense as much as we can. Like I said, because you want to take up as much space as you can. If a bunch of guys are in the window, well, like I said, one guy can cover two, but by spacing this out like we did, it's hard for him to stay in his hook zone and get out to me at the inside edge of the number. So, yeah, it just does exactly what it's for. Widen it to stretch the defense as much as you can, and it opens up the window.
Are you worried at all about getting too close to AJ, or is that something you have to be conscious of when you run the route?
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, it's kind of it works for both guys, both me and AJ. We're kind of conscious of each other, based on where we are, and you definitely don't want to. That's a tough route, just because we're in the landmark that I have to get to. But no, you definitely want to be conscious as much as you can. You try to limit that as much as you can as well to be too close. But yeah, that's just one of those timing plays where you kind of know what you're getting and you're trying to get it out fast.
Yeah, and can you take me through what you're seeing in your stem there and what keys you to turn back to the ball right there? Like right at that opportune moment, that's exactly when you turn back to the ball.
Yeah, it's all based off depth for the most part. One thing I want to make sure is I didn't turn too early, and get my proper depth. But it's kind of just a scheme that we have. Just make sure you get to a certain landmark. You get between a certain yard marker and try to get a first down. So.
All right, we're going to move on now to the second play we're going to look at. This is your big catch against Kansas City. So, Kansas City's up 10-0 here, playing against one of the most explosive offenses in the league. I'm just curious, did you guys have a mindset going in that you were going to need to score to keep up, or were you more just focused on executing your game plan?
I mean, you kind of, it's a little bit of both. I mean, you go into the game like trying to, I don't think you're thinking score to keep up, but you're thinking, hey, if we end the game with more points than they do, that means you win. So you're coming in with the idea to score as many points as you can. But at the end of the day, it's like, we know we can do that if we just run our offense, do our thing. We go out there and do our job, then everything else will take care of itself. So you don't stress about it too much. You just trust the work that you put in during the week.
Yeah, and as I'm looking at this play, Kalif, the first thing that comes to mind is we got John New motioning there. What does that tell you?
Motions always tell you coverage. So you can generally tell whether it's man or zone based on what the corner does in this situation. But that's a lot of teams are different, but for a general rule, you know whether it's man or zone based on what the defense is doing. So we always use motion to, or can't say we always do, but that's one of the things we use it for, is to check the coverage of the defense.
So that coverage that you saw, then you knew they were in a single high if you identify the safety, then. But I was curious, the single high man, is that the look you guys wanted for this play? Was there a check if you didn't get that, or is this you're going to run this man or zone? It just helps you know what to do.
I mean, you have like that, and that's the coolest part about the scheme is that in all parts of the play, you kind of have like a bailout if it's man or zone. So there are other routes in the combinations that kind of check based on whether or not it was zone or cover one, or cover two, cover three, cover four. I mean, whatever. You obviously there's coverage that you want, but the coolest part about this play is that it has so many opportunities between me going deep, and as you can see, I think that's AJ coming through on the route underneath. So
he's wide open too.
yeah. So even if like I said, that safety is pretty deep, but even if he isn't, there's another guy coming across. So that's the cool thing about Arthur is that he always puts us in a position to where there's somebody that can come open on any play. So we're never really stuck.
Yeah, and Graver touched on it a little there, but that shift, it brings a corner right into your face before the snap. Can you talk us through the release? Because that shoulder dip, that's a nasty shoulder dip you give him there.
I appreciate it. I mean, it's like I said, one, it's a deeper route. So I know for myself, I don't have too much time to kind of dilly-dally at the line. So for me, is I feel like if I can win that first step off the line and get going, I'm sorry, I don't feel too uncomfortable in press. Actually, that's probably just because I'm a smaller guy. That's one of the things I work on the most. So just knowing that that's a pretty tall guy too there, good DB. So yeah, I was trying to make sure I get off the line as much as I could, because like I said, I do have another guy coming. So after that, you just kind of set up the route in between. But yeah, as soon as I saw him, he kind of had a little bit of reach on him. I know how to kind of dip and get going as fast as I could.
So the idea is just to keep his hands off you there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they're holding on to you, they can control you. So yeah, I was trying to surprise with speed. I'm saying we're in a condensed split and everything like that. So I kind of got to get out the murky water.
Right. So this safety, does his position change how you run the route? Because I noticed when you come off the line, you're angling hard inside before you kind of curl it back out and then back towards the middle. Is that because of that safety, or is that just to gain separation from your man here?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, you're trying to take the guy's eyes. Like I said, if when I stem in, I don't want to get washed down too far inside. That's why I'm trying to push a little bit vertical. Because if you can wash me down over to run me into AJ, run me to anybody, and kind of knock me off my route. But I'm trying to catch his eyes in the event that he takes me, and I catch his eye, AJ's coming right underneath. But in the fair chance that he makes a mistake and comes down on AJ, and he doesn't pay attention to me, then I'm coming over. You kind of take that stem and kind of catch his eyes a little bit, but I think the trick to this when you take a stem like that is don't get washed down like all the way down to the hash. I mean, you want to have a guy pushing you away from your route. So yeah, take the stem, kind of catch his eyes, and after that, just kind of work the corner.
Yeah, and speaking of that stem, how soon do you know that ball is coming to you? Are you expecting it early on in your stem?
No. So I mean, it's a deeper route for me. But like I said, one thing that I told myself a long time ago, it actually helped me a lot. Is always think the ball is coming to you, because that's the one you let go if you don't think it's coming. So, like I said, it's a deeper route for me. So it's I'm always thinking the ball's coming, just so that I'm prepared when it does. But like I said, it's a deeper route. You can tell how late I look. So for me, is I knew I had enough time to sell it, just because it was such a deep route.
And it's crazy how much separation you create, because he is running with you. I mean, that's really good technique for him. He's right in your hip pocket. He's trying to control your arm, but somehow here, can you just talk us through the technique of what it is you're doing that allows you, because boom, just like that, this is a touchdown, or almost.
Yeah, so I mean, for me in that situation, like I said, you have time. And one thing that our receiver coach works a lot on, the man, is the details in the route to get you open. it's a little something. And even here, I could definitely do a better job with a lot of the other things that I do. But the details is what separates guys from getting open, being incomplete. I mean, the NFL is won by inches, so it could be something as simple as taking a peek to the left side to really say, oh no, the step that I took, I really did commit to the left side, and that's just the wide and give you more room. But like I said, just little details like that, even the look may have actually made him believe and commit for just a half second and widen him a little bit more with myself to give me more room. So I'm trying to be as detailed as I possibly can with the little stuff. And it's something as simple as a head turn could actually create a lot of separation. So something that we work in practice a lot, though. So that I had a lot of practice at doing it, and Rob does a heck of a job coaching us to make sure we are practicing the details. So it helped, definitely.
Do you guys call that a Dino technique?
Dino, no, actually, it's crazy. I haven't heard that term since I was, maybe high school, early years of college. But no, to me, that's kind of it's you really just selling. I mean, you call it playing your foot. You plant your foot in the ground, and you sell it for a hard three outside, and really make the guy commit as if you're running that back corner angle.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. See your foot in the ground and look up. don't look straight back.
Yeah, and lastly for this play, Kalif, I want to touch on the catch technique. You pull that ball into your chest, you're putting the arm down first, and you're turning the ball so it never touches the ground. Like, this has no chance of being ruled incomplete based on what you do with that. So walk us through that catch technique.
Man, to be honest with you, at that point, man, it's like I said, man, opportunities in the NFL, when they come, man, you try to take advantage of it. So to be honest with you, I think it's more just a natural, like I said, you're going to come to the ground. So the last thing you want to do is have the ball hit the ground. But to me, man, I'm like, the ball's in the air, just go get it.
Just catch it.
Yeah, just catch that thing, man. Especially, I'm saying I think that was my first deep ball. I mean, that's a trust throw. That's a trust call. That's trust all around. You look at our quarterback in the background there, Ryan's.
Yeah.
He had to take a lick in order to get it out. I mean, it's just a go. I'm trusting you to go catch it. I'm trusting you to put you in. Ryan, I'm trusting you to throw it. I mean, it's just a trust play. So I want to make sure, man, I can come through. So once the ball's in the air, I'm thinking, man, just come down with that thing. That's all. Everything else, we'll work it out. So
that's a heck of a throw.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, man. I try to give him as much credit as I can, man, because that man can really throw that thing, and he always aims to put it in the best spot. So, but we worked that. He puts in a ton of work. We've thrown half the catches that we're going to talk about in practice plenty of times, even the deep ones after practice. So, it definitely helps a lot. Those little reps that you get, man, anything that you can do to make it game light. So when you get to the game, you make plays. So.
Right. So on that note, we will move on to one of those other plays. It's kind of similar in the sense that it's a play action deep shot, but it's also pretty different. Just to set this play up, we have 3 minutes left in the game. You guys are up by a touchdown here, and this is a 3rd and 6 in Colts territory. I'm sure everyone in the stadium was expecting a run here just to kind of ice the game away, and if you give it back to them, then you rely on the defense.
Yeah, and I'm curious what your first thought was when the play came into the huddle. Do you remember the play call?
Yeah, I remember what the plan was. But man, I mean, I'll tell you what, and I know I keep alluding to it, man, but when somebody has faith in you like that, it brings about a different level of confidence, man. And I think that's really cool, and that speaks volumes of Arthur, speaks volumes of Graves, and speaks volumes of everybody, all the people that's on the field right now, man. That is a trust play. I mean, you got a game, 3 minutes left in Indy away. Man, that's awesome. So for me, man, it's like, man, my teammate is trusting me to go make a play. So my teammate is expecting me to do something. So at that point, man, that gives me a different level of fuel, man. I'm hungry. I'm eager to go make this play. Not because I want to score, but my teammates counting on me. My OC put trust in me. My head coach put trust in me. Like it fires you up a little bit. So, man, I was thinking, man, go get it, man. These guys are counting on you. So
when you see a linebacker lined up across from you like that, do you just salivate, especially knowing you're going deep?
He's technically playing like a nickel back or a nickel corner. No, man. I think either way, man. I kind of you check the players you're going against just for how they play and the routes they do and everything like that. But when it gets to the point of the game, man, I don't think I'm checking so much as across from me. He's gonna make a play. Yeah, man. But you don't even really you see the guy next from you, and you look for him to film you study. But at this point in time, man, I'm just like it doesn't matter who they put in front of me. I was like, man, I'm getting open. You kind of just rely on your instincts, man. You don't you rely too much on that stuff, man. You're a half second slower, man. So for me, I was like, man, they could put anybody, and no matter how many people, my guys are counting on me, I'm going to get open. So.
And he gets pretty physical with you at the snap. So talk me through the release here.
Same thing here. I mean, one thing I always tell all my brothers and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't just go there right away. I mean, that makes it so much easier for God just releases inside. So just with the development of the play, and it's kind of similar. I mean, these are deeper routes. You only have so much time at the line. But I definitely want to give, all I need is a little bit of space, a little bit of separation. And I know that window, I mean, Ron can fit in there anywhere. So just a little bit of space, set him up one way and head the other. Just give me a little bit of space. Maybe he misses one offhand or anything. Just give me a little bit of space, and then I can make the rest happen from there. So, like I said, as you can see, this is thrown on the other side of the field. And I think I had to get to between 15 and 18 yards before I broke. So it's a long developing play. So with the release, I know I have to set them up one way, but I can't spend too much time. So just something quick, something subtle, but just to get him to shift his balance off and move to just a little bit in one direction.
Is this a design throwback the way Ryan rolls out here? Is that kind of the concept here to get him all leaning to the right with these almost like a flood to the right? And then... Yeah. I mean, like I said, you kind of have your that's definitely mine. I'm hitting the right route. And like I said, you always kind of have your just like it's all in a scheme, and you have guys in place for almost every situation. So, but yeah, I am supposed to be heading back to that back corner. So,
gotcha. And as you mentioned, it's a long develop. What are you seeing in your stem there? Take me through the angles you run, and again, you give him a little outside head fake on this one.
Yeah, so I am trying to, I think somebody told me a long time ago, I'm trying to keep it as vertical as possible. If I'm leaning to the inside, he kind of knows where I'm going, but he shouldn't break any direction until after I go. So even though, like I said, even though I went inside in the beginning of the route, I'm trying to stem him back up straight just to make sure he has no idea which way I'm going until I cut. And that's the biggest thing for me. Like I said, I generally, if it was a shorter route, shorter development play, I would probably do a little bit more of my head fake, my stem. But just with such a long route where I was kind of stacked on top of them. I didn't need to do too much other than keep it straight. And then at the last second, make a break and have him react off that. So it's just one of those things, man, where he was in a position that I needed him to be. I kind of saw the vertical and just a stick, man, and I was good. So.
AJ back there in the back.
How does it feel when you caught that touchdown? How that felt?
Oh man, I was about to cry out there, man. I laid on the ground, man.
That was your first career touchdown catch.
Yeah,
that was the first one, man. Tell the viewers a little. I know a little about this, but tell the viewers what you did with the ball.
Yeah, man, I gave it to my mom, man. She ever since the beginning of my career, man, she said, if you score, you got to give me one. Or can I have the ball? And I was like, man, of course. Like, yes, that's my rock right there to give me that. So, and it was actually such a crazy experience. One, it took 4 years to get a touchdown, man. That doesn't tell you anything about the caliber of the film. It's 4 years to get one. So, but yeah, I caught it, man, and it's cool because the guy that was down at the one of the security guards at the stadium, pre-game, she was trying to come down, and like she was a little bit higher up. I don't think that section was open. And I just see a guy waving at me from the other side of the 50. It's like, yeah, man, your mom's been down here trying to get a hold of you. And then he let her come down. I got to see my mom pre-game. And it was so cool because after I scored and I walked running back over there, he let her, the same side that the part of the seats that were blocked off, he let her come down again so I could give it to her. So it was pretty cool, man. It was an excellent experience. She's the first person I looked for when I scored, man. I knew she was gonna be down there somewhere. So it was just an excellent experience for both me and her, man, being able to get her the ball for something we've been working for so long. So
shout out to that security guard, man. He did a hell of a
man, definitely.
He
showed a lot of love. He showed a lot of love.
The Kalif Raymond touchdown, it was a phenomenal play, but a phenomenal route. How does that crowd ever come back from that?
They didn't.
So obviously we know this is the playoffs. This is big time. And this is right after the fourth down stop. First down, 45-yard line. But a little bit different formation from the Kansas City play. We got 3 tight ends this time. Really heavy set. Sell that run. What? I'm just curious, what's it like being the only receiver on the field in a playoff game?
Man, I tell you, I'm telling you, man, it's just to show you the amount of love that kind of goes around, man, with the locker room and the team is, and I keep going back to the same thing. That's because it's so evident. It is, like I said, it is a playoff game. First year with the team, playoff situation, critical situation, and I am the only receiver on the field, man. And that is just a testament to the faith and the confidence that the coaching staff, instills in the players that we have here, man. That is a lot of love. That's a lot of trust. That is a lot of trust from both coaching staff and, as you can see, the play wouldn't have to run and throw that ball, man. So it's a lot of trust that goes around, man. So it means a lot, man. It means a lot to how much respect and trust that a staff and a team can instill in each other. So that was awesome, man. That was really awesome. That's a huge opportunity for me, man. And especially in a game like that. So it meant a lot.
Yeah, it was a huge play. I think it's, in my opinion, the biggest play of the season, truth be told, in my personal opinion. But we got a bit of a different formation here, but you're in the same split. And it looks to be a very similar route concept to some of the ones that we've looked at, technique-wise. Yep. And you're faking that corner route before running a post.
Yep.
It looks like the same route combination out here and run the same way.
Yeah, type of stem. We got a guy coming at knee. Yeah, man, I think, like I said, it's a different technique. The other one was press, this one's off.
Right.
And I think just a lot of it.
They're in a zone this time. At Kansas City was a single high. Man, what is this coverage here? Is this cover 3?
It should be 3. If he's bailing out, it should be 3 or some form of it.
Right.
Like I said, the thing about defense and part of being a professional receiver is man, you have to be able to read coverages on the run. Coaches always tell you that. Roz mentioned it plenty of time, man, is that you're never going to get what you're expecting. So you got to be able to read coverages on the run. So just watching how things develop. And like I said, we did get the same coverage in the beginning that the play ended up being. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned the off coverage there. What are you reading as you're coming off that line and realizing that it's off?
To me, I am one. I mean, you can check his depth, but I am looking at the way his hips are rotated. Just because that's going to tell you what you're going to do on the first step out. So, just he's facing the other way. I'm trying to get into his blind spot because after you get into his blind spot, you can kind of control it from there. And hopefully I sold the first stick enough with either my head or my shoulders to get in this blind spot. And then once I'm in this blind spot, I'm taking it the other way. So, the first part, I'm just looking at the way his shoulders are turned.
I'd be interested to hear how you're coached to do this here, especially on your initial stem, because I feel like this play and the Kansas City play, whether it's the alignment or here the ball's on the opposite hash, you kind of have a two-way go with that corner post. Is the coaching point to always angle your stem inside here so that you can fake the corner and go post, or is that just?
Yeah, slightly. I mean, because like I said, you're in condensed split, so there's only so much you can angle. Like I said, the little details and the landmarks that they want you to hit, so that way your eyes, they can. You never know what by angling in like that, you're catching the eyes of different defenders and what he's expecting you to do. So it's something slight, but like I said, it kind of varies on what your split is based on what you're doing. So.
And just like the last 2 plays that we've looked at, it seems to me that the play action is important to the success of this play. So again, I'm curious about how the safety influences your route. When you see him coming down on the play fake, do you already have a good idea this ball's coming your way?
it works both ways because, like I said, in the NFL a lot, you're going to have rotating coverages, and a lot of times that means rotating safeties. So even though the safety does come down here, I'm not expecting there to be no safety per se. Just because I know, like I said, if there's one's coming down, the other one should be rolling over top. So, and if you would have stayed high, I would have kind of changed what I was expecting, or with my ankle maybe coming out the last cut. But yeah, I knew if he comes down, I know there's another guy. So it just forced kind of me to take my angle higher, just because I know that there is a middle field safety coming over because the coverage is rotating. So yeah, like I said, it definitely makes a difference. But like I said, being able to read the coverage on the run, you can kind of feel where that guy's supposed to be if they're rotating. So
I want to talk about it quickly here. I mean, every guy in the NFL is immensely talented, but Marlon Humphrey is first team All-Pro this year. As soon as you have him like this, are you thinking touchdown?
I mean, to be honest with you, as soon as I saw that, and it's weird to say that. I don't know if I was necessarily thinking touchdown, but I was thinking that ball is coming. So like, get on your horse. Just because, like I said, and it had almost less to do with the route and most of the fact that most to do with I knew Ryan was going to throw it. Because I said that when it comes down to trust, man, I knew more than anything he was going to put the ball in the right spot. So for me, it's like, man, once I make that cut and it's there, I'm like, get on your horse, because he's going to get the ball out there. And I can only imagine if I came out that break, took a half second slower, because I didn't think he was going to throw it. Like I said, this game's all about trust, and I knew that ball was going to come out if the window was there. So, yeah, as soon as I made the cut, I'm like, let's go, because it's coming. And it was there. So
yeah, it's funny. That was going to be my next question, because it looks like you give a bit of an extra burst of speed as soon as that ball closed in. That's just total natural instinct, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, go get the ball, man. You know, and say if you have an extra gear, definitely push it, man, because once the ball's in the air, either you come down with it or nobody does. So I mean, you see the ball in the air, it's just, you're saying, if you want it, man, you'll go get it. And I kind of take that not for my pride or anything, but man, if the ball's in the air, man, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get the ball, no matter where it is on the field. So and I knew, like I said, Ron was going to put it in a great spot. So for me, it's a matter of, man, look, he's going to put it out there. You can trust and believe that. So go get it.
Yeah. Another great example, I mean, this is teaching tape on how to go to the ground with the ball there. I imagine you don't get a lot of chances to practice. I mean, you can hit the jugs after practice as much as you want, but you're not diving for balls and really focusing on securing it. So is that just your natural don't let go instinct there?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Yeah, you don't do too much falling, man. But yeah, it's probably just natural instinct, man. Just know it. Because, like I said, and one thing they always emphasize, especially this year more than ever, is you got to survive the ground.
Right.
So as soon as the ball hits my hand and it's secure, even in the close game, it's actually funny that you mentioned that. It's almost like as soon as the ball hits my hand, my body, my brain goes straight to securing it, whether it be my forearm, wherever I need to put a little bit extra tightness. As soon as it's a catch, I go to security. So I guess it's more of a natural instinct, because I know I'm focusing on surviving the ground every time. So.
And you know, Kalif, the thing that strikes me most about this play is that this came right after Baltimore had turned the ball over on downs. So you guys were up 7-0. Yeah, they turned the ball over on downs. Me personally, I love the idea of taking a deep shot on that first play after a turnover. You know, the defense is reeling a little bit. They're running back out onto the field. Did that sort of play a role in this play call?
Man, I think if you look back at Art, man, dude, man, that dude's not scared. I mean, we come into the meetings, man. He's just as fired up as we are. He's not pulling any punches, man. He's not gonna hold back.
That's what it's doing.
That he's willing to go ahead and call the shots, man. And I think that's one thing about Art is he always, and that's if you can look at a lot of times, man, where he's like, man, I'm gonna call the shot. We have it on script. I'm gonna try to get a chance to call it out there. So I think it's just a testament to, man, to his courage and his trust in his guys, man, because it doesn't matter what the down the distance is. I mean, if he feels strongly about it, he's gonna call it. So that's a testament to Art, man. He's willing to go get it. So, and that, like I said, that something like that, man, that puts confidence in us. To know that Art's willing to go out there, man, call the shots, go make some plays. to get it down, to trust us to go out there and call something like that. I mean, it puts confidence in us. When he walks to the meeting room, he's so confident in us. It only allows us to go out there and finish the job. So, man, it's a testament to the trust built in the room, and he trusts us so much that he's willing to call a play like that. So, yeah, that was a bond. That was awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. It's clear as day there. I'm going to get into a couple of questions, if you don't mind, Kalif. The offense exploded, man. You know, when Ryan Tannehill took over as quarterback, what was that adjustment like, and what do you credit the turnaround to?
Just being able to adapt on the fly, man. Like I said, when things change, man, being a professional, even in times like this, you have to be able to learn to adapt and continue to grow. And I think guys are just willing to put extra work in, whatever needed to be done, man. They're willing to do it. So it was more of a sense of urgency, man, and just a different mindset and attitude. Like, man, we're gonna change this thing around. So, yeah, man, I think it was a time. I mean, you can feel the energy in a lot, and ready to make change and to go out there and bring the season anew. So, yeah, man, testament to the extra work everybody put in. I think that's the biggest part of it.
Nice. And I want to talk a little bit about route running. You mentioned earlier about, a few times how detailed you have to be in your routes. Mm-hmm. I know that sometimes speed guys can just rely on speed alone. They don't put a ton of thought into their stems, cuts, all that stuff. That's obviously not the case the way you run routes. Actually, I don't know if you know this or not, but you have a nickname on Twitter, and amongst some Titans fans I've heard, people call you the route god.
I've never heard that. I'm not even big on Twitter, man, but that's a first for me. That's pretty funny.
I'm wondering if you can tell us a little about your process pre-snap, and then when you're running, are you counting steps? Are you using land markers? What are you looking for specifically as you go to attack a defender like that?
Man, it's so funny that you say that, man. I tell everybody, I treat route running almost like a game of chess. I'm trying to set you up way in advance, maybe for something either deeper in the route, or I'm trying to maybe set you up for the next play. So to me, it's a game, and it starts to me with the press release, because there's so many variations you can do. I may do something one way and use that same look to do it another, but that's a game of chess. Now at this point, you're guessing, is he gonna do the same one to do the first move, or do the same one to do the next move? And at that point, I bring in something totally new. So it's just a game of chess along the way. After I won the release, maybe on the outside or even maybe on the inside, I have to finish the rest of the route. So I'm trying to set you up along the way to make you believe I'm doing something that I'm not. So, and it comes with, to me, it's a lot of studying. I think that's the part that people don't use or don't pay attention too much. Is if you go on Andrew Hawkins, or you go watch this, not Andrew Hawkins, but yeah, he had a bunch of one-on-ones. I'm missing his name. A bunch of one-on-ones on YouTube. I watch a bunch of Keenan Allen. There's so many guys that have done so much studying, so that way I'm using different variations, waste of time on the route, man. I think one of the coolest guys, I actually just texted him yesterday, his name is Jordan Norwood. He wasn't necessarily the fastest guy in the world, but he was so savvy. So like, while everybody's waiting for their route on one-on-ones, when I was in Denver, I was watching his route to pick up something else. So it's a chess move, and especially for a guy like me. Like, I don't want to just be the fast guy. I want to be able to put me down on third down. I can go out and run any route in the route tree. But also want to be open versus press man versus off man. It doesn't matter what the coverage is, what the guy's doing, who the DB is. I can go out there and win, especially and particularly man coverage, because that's what the field's for. So for me, speed isn't always going to win in the sight window. So I need to be able to use my quickness, but more than anything, I need to be able to use my details to set it up. You don't need to be run a 4-3 to run a 12-yard out, but if you can break the deep inside and give them a little something to run out, 4-3 or 4-8, I'm open. So I want to make sure when in the times where I don't necessarily need to run super duper fast, I have enough moves in my arsenal to be able to still win a route no matter what. So a lot of studying, a lot of film, a lot of practice, but like I said, I've also been around a lot of receivers. I got to watch their game. I do a lot of studying for it. So I said, if I can win the mental battle, man, and now you're guessing to see what I'm going to do, at that point, man, I'll kind of set you up. So yeah. I'm hoping to use a little bit more of that this year. Like I said, I've got a lot of stuff that I've been trying to use. I've been practicing, so hopefully bring out a lot more.
Nice. Let me ask you, Kalif. Do you know how many times you've been cut?
Oh man, too many to keep count. No, I think the first couple of times, man, like I said, it's an interesting experience walking to a room and God telling you either you're not good enough or we can't use you here. So I think the biggest part about myself being a professional and learning to be one, and to be honest with you, just learning to be an adult, learning to be a man, and growing as a person is learning how to grow mentally. And that's the biggest battle, especially in the NFL. So after a while, man, I learned how to stop beating myself up so much for it, man. Just like, look, man, no matter what happens, I'm gonna go out there and grind. I'm gonna go out there and grind. I always tell myself, no matter what I'm against, whether it's a person or a thing, you're gonna quit before I do. No matter what I'm doing, you're gonna quit before I do. So even if it's a challenge, even if it's being in the NFL, you're never gonna. So it doesn't matter how many times I quit, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what I'm going to train, there's so. Yeah, after a while, man, after the first couple of times, you learn as you become more of a man, and you learn to work through those things and work through the adversity. So this is a part of growing that I stopped counting. It only, I know some people use it as fuel, but for me, it was putting a halt on how much I could grow, and it's now just using it as growing tools, man. Because every time I get cut, it's so crazy because I've used that in my training. What was the one thing, a couple things that I could have changed to help me not get cut from the Titans the first time, or the Giants, or Denver, or the Jets? Like, what were the things that I could have worked on that I can take back with me to keep all around my game? And honestly, it became a blessing in disguise because I got cut from the Denver for a different reason. I got cut from the Jets for a different reason. I got cut from the Giants from a different reason. I didn't make the first workout. So, it was cool because I was using all those things to refine my game. So hopefully if I do get the opportunity, I'll take advantage of it. And that's the coolest part of this year, why I'm so blessed for this year, is because the opportunity was given to me in a playoff game. And I'm the only receiver on the field, but because I didn't let those other situations beat me up, how many times I got cut, only thing I was worried about during that time was, man, they're trusting you to go catch the rock. So it's just part of growing, man, and it definitely helped me a lot. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, it speaks like everything you said, the mental toughness that you have. First time you were cut was 4.5 years ago now. Yeah. And here we are breaking down a playoff game against the number 1 seed Ravens, and you're the only receiver on the team.
That's crazy.
I mean? Like,
right?
It's been a crazy journey for you, man.
Yeah, definitely. And the coolest part about it, man, is like I said, I don't really post much on social media too much, man. But as I've grown, and I think what separated this year more than any is I've figured out you can't do it by yourself. And I say it all the time, but you'll see a lot of my times I had more family come to this game more than any other game. I remember when I got cut from the Jets, man, there was no family in the state. It was just me, because I think, you're grinding so hard. You're like, man, I gotta do it. And you're taking away how much help that you had along the way. And man, it was just a different feeling going back there to either catch a punt or catch a pass. And I know exactly where all 30-something of my family members were sitting watching me play. It's just a different feeling knowing you're out there by yourself. So that's the coolest part about us this year. Out of all the times that all the adversity that I faced, my family was here and so supportive. They even helped me train. There's videos I haven't even posted. There's videos that you can see, like my mom's holding like pool noodles to help try to distract me catching punts. I got all of my brothers and my sisters guarding me. It's like full 1 versus 11. I'm running routes. Everyone's like, dude, do whatever you can. Don't let me catch the ball. But my family was a part of that. So having them there at the game, it just gave me a different level of strength, different level of confidence. And then being on this team is just like the cherry on top, man. To go out there and not feel like, okay, I have to do everything for me, but instead I'm playing for my family. Instead I'm playing for my teammates. It definitely changed. Definitely changed with the story unfolded for me. So big difference this year.
I hope you don't take it easy on your siblings, man. You got your brothers and sisters covering you out there. You're smoking them off the line.
Nah, man. I say, look, man, you guys do whatever you have to, because the harder you make it for me, the easier it is gonna be in the game. And to be honest with you, it's me having to try to tone them down. They see it. Okay, this is a shot we can get a big brother. They're gonna take every opportunity. So no. And then like I said, my brothers are all pretty good athletes too, man. So no, it's definitely the other way around. They try to beat me up a little bit, so, but I need it.
Speaking of athletes, man, I know they didn't give it to you officially, but I know 3 people had you timed at 4.27 when you ran that 40 man down at Holy Cross. 4.27. 3 different scouts had you timed at that. They gave you a 4.33, but a lot of people know you hit that 4.27.
Yeah, I didn't even know anything about that until after, man. Like I said, that was such a unique experience. I don't know if you know the backstory, man, but running fast was just all I could think about. I mean, because everything was racing so much. I between the time I got there and when they started, man, it was just such a rush that like I didn't have time to think or really worry about. I was like, look, man, please tell me I ran fast, so that way I know I'm all good. So yeah, I didn't even know anything about that until after. But man, yeah, I had a lot of guys that helped me train at Elite Sports Performance. Man, those guys really took care of me. So
I got it right here. That's the 40. 47.
Oh man.
And one of the scouts in that crowd, man, for one reason or another, you didn't end up with them, but was Mike DeReese with the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
And I know he was one of the first ones to go to John, your agent John, and really, stand on the table for you. And I remember hearing the story. And I don't know if you've heard this one or not, but when John brought the tape, there was a scout with an AFC team. I won't reveal what team, but John brought the tape to him, and the scout said, "You're gonna get me fired for this, man. We don't got this kid on our board." And that was his area. And he was, man, you're gonna get. The only thing that saved his job in a way, kiddingly, was that the head coach of that football team, his daughter worked at Holy Cross, and she didn't tell him about him. So it's hard to blame the scout for it, because if he can't rely on his own family to say, hey, you gotta see who this kid is, then what a journey, man.
Man, it was, and when I tell you, I could not do it by myself, man. Man, because there's so much stuff. Even it was Exceed Sports Performance, man. Those guys took care of me because I actually had 5 classes during that time. Man, and I was trying to drive back and forth. I was a senior. I mean, it was a lot of stuff going on, and those guys ended up taking care of me. Then after that, even to get into Harvard's Pro Day, I had to have some help from Mike DeRice to help from the Colts in order for me to even get into it. So without him, I wouldn't have had a shot to get into the Pro Day or had a Pro Day. So man, it's a humbling experience, especially watching that tape just then, man, to go back and think like, whoa, man, it's came a long way, man. 'Cause I had a lot of help. So big shout out to Mike, man, for helping.
And how did you repay Mike, man? You're catching touchdowns on the Colts there to win the game, and
man, I got an ongoing tab, man. But it's crazy because after that, man, he actually gave me the shot, man. So it's just a special thank you to him, man, because like I said, I would not have been in that Pro Day had it not been for Mike to even have an opportunity in general. So man, it's a humbling experience. Like I said, you can't do it by yourself, and just being remembrance, man. Just shoot him a text, man. Just, hey, thank you, because he reached out to me like, man, look, just thank you for putting me in that position. So yeah, it was a story. A lot of help, man. A lot of help.
And tell our viewers, man. I know a little story about that traveling jug machine. You threw that jug machine in the back of your car, man. Was when you got cut with the Jets, was it, or the Giants?
Yeah, so it was a little bit of both. So it's after I got cut with the Jets, and the Giants ended up picking me up. But I have been thinking about the whole season, man, with just all the anxieties and fears, man, just things that I want to get better at. So nobody's immune to the stuff. And I was like, man, like I said, I'm not gonna quit, man. So what can I do, man, to go out there and get myself better, especially mentally? And I was like, man, I want to make sure I go out there. And I've caught so many punts that's the last thing I'm thinking about is catching. I've caught so many passes that like it's second nature. Even when I'm dead tired, like I wanted to catch. I wanted to literally almost not beat the fear out of myself, but man, I was like, man, I want to leave no stone unturned. So yeah, I bought a JUGS machine. It's actually funny that we had, and some of the guys found out I had it. And just with, bouncing from team to team, man, I couldn't kind of have to keep everything in the trunk. So my back seat was always full with my clothes because the JUGS machine was always in my trunk. So in every city I was traveling to for workouts, whatever it was, my car was always dirty because I had the big old thing in my trunk. So, but yeah, bought the JUGS machine. We actually ended up using it. I think the facility was closed, man. We had a couple guys when I was with the Giants, and we shot it in a parking lot. We actually almost got in trouble from a security guard, but he found out we were Giants players and let us shoot it, man. A couple of me, I think it was Hunter, Marquise Bundy. There's a bunch of guys out there who were shooting JUGS machine. That was the first time I actually pulled it out and used it for a situation like that. But then that whole summer, from every day for 6 weeks. I played a lady named Laura Barnes from 12-2, and she shot me thousands of balls, like thousands. Like it was me and her blistering hot, and we're shooting them no matter what. So, I mean, I caught so many that it changed the way I thought about it. It changed it just felt differently working through my fears. So that's the biggest part of it, man. Was to go out there and put myself in a position to never have to worry about that again. So.
Damn right. And when you were with the Giants, man, I had a friend of mine at the time who worked with the team, and I ended up getting a video on my cell phone. It never went public, and I've never shared it with anybody. I think you know what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, they got you one-on-one on a foot race with Odell Beckham Jr., and you I'm not going to, we know who won that race.
No, man, you talking about a dude, man. That is my guy. Just a quick note on him, man. There's a lot of time. You look at pictures, he's always like going, man, he's actually helping the young guys out, man. But that was one thing we always like, and that's part of him just pushing each other. Because before, I think it was a couple practices before, we were like, yo, I told him like, man, take it all the way. Because I think I had one like the day before, and I'm running. He's like chasing me. He's like, nah, man, but like I'm gonna see if I can catch you. So that day I was like, look, hey, go to the house. I'm gonna try to catch you, and I'm gonna just start from the bag, and I'm gonna just try to catch you. And it was almost like a race. I don't think he actually thought I was gonna race him until he's going all the way, looks to his right. I'm like right there looking at him. But no, that's a testament to just that man trying to push the people around him. I mean, he a lot of words of wisdom come from him that I get to use today, and that's just one of them, man. That's one way to make practice. I mean, who knows? You chilling on the last bit of rep, that extra little momentum may help you score on your next return because you know you got a guy coming behind you. So, that's just us pushing each other in practice.
No doubt. That was fantastic stuff. Look, Kalif, man, I've really appreciated your time today, man. I first got to know you last June, man. We did an interview, and you were telling me all about the trip to Thailand, and you've talked a lot about spiritual growth. Here tonight, and you met a monk out there, and you did some meditation, and you did all this terrific stuff before what ended up being your best season. And we talked about the struggles then of you being an undrafted free agent, and you were just really searching for some stability. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, slowly but surely, we were talking a lot, and your name started to buzz more and more at practice. I started noticing on social media and a lot more people are starting to talk about Kalif Raymond. And then August 31st came. And that was cut day, right? That was the final day for Titans to make their final cuts. And I remember seeing my phone ring, and your caller ID popped up on my phone. And I remember I just put my hands up. I said right away, I looked at who I was sitting with, and I said, Kalif made the team. I mean, I had before I answered the phone, and I answered the phone, and you told me the fantastic news, and I was so happy for you, and you allowed me to break that news, which I really appreciated you for, of course. And but you didn't simply make the team, and we talked about that. And here we are a year later, and we're breaking down impact plays, and you're catching touchdowns in the playoffs where you're the only receiver on the field. So again, man, I'm super proud of you, Kalif. Thanks for sitting with us today. We've taken a lot of your time, more than I planned. So I apologize for that. But thank you so much for doing this, and I can't wait to watch you make even bigger plays this coming season.
Man, thank you, Justin. I'll tell you what, man, it's honestly been a pleasure, man. It's a lot of love coming your way, man. Especially with all the stuff going on, man. That's one thing that everybody can use a little bit more of, man. So thank you for taking care of me, man. It speaks volumes to your character. And I appreciate it, man. So thank you for taking the time, man. I'm glad to be on here anytime, man. Of course, Justin number 2, man. I haven't even heard your voice, but hope you're doing well too, man. Thank you guys for having me.
No, we really appreciate the time, Kalif.
It's all love, Kalif. Well, I'll catch up with you, and we'll do another one of these next year.
Sounds good. You guys be safe.
Thank you.